Hi everyone, it's Amanda. This is the second video of two that looks at helping to heal childhood issues in the light of all of the stuff that's going on around Michael Jackson at the moment. I've actually made, this will be the fifth video, but this video and the one that went out on the 6th of March 2019 are really meant to be watched together. They are a body of work in their own right, and you are encouraged to watch them together to get the most benefit out of them. I am not going to go back into old ground of anything that I've said in the previous 4 videos. I'm going to try hard not to anyway. So I'm going to just take it as given that you have watched the others, so you're going to understand the context why we are doing this work. And this is the last chapter of this particular book anyway. There may be other videos that I do at some point linked into Michael Jackson. Certainly not closing the door on that, but for the time being anyway, this will be the last video in this particular set. Okay, so let's get ready. This video is going to be concentrating on meditations and healing. It's going out for the first time at 9 o'clock GMT in the evening on the 7th of March 2019, and I'm going to just follow straight on with what we were doing yesterday. So 24 hours has passed since I made that first video, and I've woken up this morning. I'm feeling a little bit tired, but that's okay. I think you have to understand that if you're really doing the work in terms of listening to what's coming through, questioning for yourself, if it's triggering wounds that you have, childhood wounds, then that is going to require a little bit of time and love and healing. But this is very much about, this is a journey that we're on. It sounds a cliche, but it is. And journeys can be tiring sometimes. So it's really important that you take some time out after you've watched these videos to rest, to recharge, drink lots of clear water as much as you can, get yourself out in nature, because what that will do is it will then reinforce the healing that has come through, particularly on these last 2 videos, and particularly this one, okay? Because the work we're going to be doing tonight is of a very high vibration. And I've been shown, I haven't been given all the words, but I've been shown one of the meditations we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our inner child that is within us up to source light, God, basically, via the bridge that is Archangel Metatron. So that's profound. And then of course the inner child gets brought back into us, healed and whole, in a state of innocence and purity. So it's pretty big. And when you're doing energy work, if you're coming to me for a session, because in a way that's really what we're doing here, this is like a session of healing, please make sure that you rest and you ground yourself afterwards, okay? I also want to say that you can rewatch this video at any time, including all of the 5 videos. They have an energy that is transmitted through them, which is very high, very light, and about love and about healing. I have allowed us all to have our say with regard to what we feel about Michael Jackson. I've stated on all of the 4 videos that I believe in his innocence. I will say that again on the 5th. But some of you don't agree. I have to say the vast majority of people that are following me and supporting me and on my channel, not just on YouTube but also on Facebook, I would say probably 95% of them are in support of his innocence. But equally, there's a big wide world out there, and a lot of people wouldn't necessarily feel the same. This video is open to anybody. Whatever you feel about the man, it is to do with him being a catalyst for helping us to heal our childhood wounds, which is what Michael, I believe, was always about. He was always about trying to help heal the child. And it's very well documented, not necessarily in a 4-hour documentary to combat the leaving Neverland energy that's out there, but you could easily make 4 hours of material just focused on Michael's good work, particularly linked into sick children, very damaged children, and children that were terminally ill. It would be nice if that story could be told. But anyway, that's the subject maybe for another day. Let's look at your child. Before we get to it though, I'm just going to tell you what's happened today, because I'm sitting up here. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning on the 6th. So I'm making this a day before, just so it does go out live on the 7th as I intended. But we have actually got the Pisces moon energy as I'm making this. And it feels very deep actually. It feels very, very deep. What we are able to access here is profound. So anyway, I've come up here to my room. I've got lots of things around me. And let me just open up my diary, because I just did a bit of meditation up here. And I was shown something quite interesting. Do you remember that on the last video, I ended it with these 3 cards? Diana, Mary Magdalene and Lady Portia. But the the Mary Magdalene energy in particular was coming through very, very strongly this morning, linked into the work with Michael Jackson. I couldn't really understand it. Those of you that have watched the other material I've put out will know I've talked about Christ-centered energy, and that there are parallels almost with the story of Christ. I'm not saying Michael is Christ, but he himself referred to Christ many times throughout his life, particularly in relation to the children. But Mary Magdalene, it's like I'm not quite sure where she fits into the picture. So I went into quite a deep meditation just now, and I brought in Archangel Metatron, and I brought in Michael Jackson, and it's like they were both speaking at the same time actually. It was quite interesting. They were talking about loyalty. And I thought, oh, okay, that's an interesting one. Wasn't expecting to be even talking to you about loyalty. But actually in some ways, maybe it follows on from what I've just watched on the television in the breakfast time. They had Mark Lester on, who's is one of Michael's very loyal supporters over many years. And that's very well documented if you want to look at that. Well, Mark Lester was on again this morning on GMTV, and it wasn't as much about leaving Neverland actually, and he was asked about it, and he just said, well, it's not the Michael that I ever knew for 30 years. It wasn't the man I knew. He was just very blunt. That was basically what he said. And then he started to talk about some more interesting stuff in terms of stories linked to what he saw at Neverland, in terms of people abusing Michael's good nature, people turning up and sort of not leaving for 3 months and sort of disrespecting the land actually. And so I thought, oh, okay, came up here, did the meditation, got the word loyalty. But I'm now realising it's linked into what I've just witnessed, because in a way Mark Lester has been very loyal to Michael. Even 10 years after his death, he's still there. He's still protesting his support for his friend. And of course there are other people within Michael Jackson's camp, his family of course, who are still there for him, and a few others. But not many actually. Not many big names coming out. And then Mary came in, Mary Magdalene, and she reminded me of the story of Christ. And it's like a parallel here, because do you remember those of you that know the story of Christ, after he was crucified, this is what is in the Gospels. After he was crucified, he was taken down from the cross where he had suffered and had been, obviously, they tried to kill him. And he was put into a tomb, and all of his close allies and supporters, the disciples, fled in fear. They fled in fear because they didn't want to be associated with him any longer. They were frightened for their own lives. They were just not wanting to put their name against his. They went into fear, they went into hiding. All except Mary Magdalene. And Mary Magdalene was the energy that appeared to Christ, the Gospel says, when he came out of the tomb, and she recognised him. He had to tell her who he was, but she then believed. The point is, she believed. She didn't doubt, she believed. And she then went back to the male disciples and told them that she had seen the risen Christ. And they didn't believe her at first. And there's the story of doubting Thomas, isn't there? You know, unless I can put my fingers into where the wounds were, I will not believe it is him. A lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of confusion. It was Mary. It was Mary that was always loyal. So linking this into a modern day story, I'm not saying that Michael Jackson is Christ. I'm saying look at the parallels, because I keep saying in these videos, this is more than about Michael Jackson. There is rich spiritual learning in here. If you look at his life and you look at who is still supporting him and who is still standing, his fan base is pretty much rock solid. He's got some great fans out there. But a lot of the people that he was around in his life and who he probably spent a lot of time with are not necessarily there. The rights and wrongs of opera, you know, could come into this as well. I don't really want to make it about her. But it's this thing about loyalty and who stays with you, who stays the course. And what I was told, what I heard Michael say, he didn't say it in a bitter way, although it sounds a bit bitter, but it wasn't said in bitterness. I think he's just trying to illustrate the point. He says, who will throw you under the bus and who will remain loyal to you to the bitter end? It's a bit like a modern day parable, this. And I thought that was really interesting. And I think the teaching here is that then take that into your own life. Take it away from Michael Jackson. This is just the template that's almost being laid down. Okay? Look at your own life. Who have you been loyal to? Who are you still loyal to? Have you thrown anybody symbolically underneath the bus? You know, stabbed them in the back. Maybe not a good choice of words, as I was talking about knife crime yesterday. Betrayal and loyalty. Who are we loyal to? What cause are we loyal to? Are we going to be swayed in that loyalty by, 2,000 years ago in the time of Christ, they didn't have the mass media. Just imagine that, if at the time of Christ they'd had the mass media. Okay, everybody reading their tabloids or opening up their browsers in the morning and just being fed again the opposite message of Christ, which was love and forgiveness and innocence and purity. Well, now we have got that in our face, unfortunately. So even more important is the message about who are you loyal to. Discernment and loyalty seem to be coming up as big lessons, and Mary was the one that brought that to my attention. And she was loyal to Christ right to the end of her days. Won't go into her energy too much because there's a lot to say on that, another video. So that happened. Thought that I wanted just to mention that to you. And then I drew 2 cards for Michael. Well, actually, no. I drew a tarot card based on that thing about loyalty. And I just said, Michael, okay, just give me a card then. Didn't even know what I was asking. And I got the Star card. And the Star card is the card of hope. It's believing in something. It's hoping for a better world. If enough of us wish it, and enough of us really believe in that, we can bring in a better world. Wasn't one of his songs about that? Heal the world, make it a better place. I'm hearing that song in my head. Make the world a better place for you and for me. How many people, I mean, now they're saying they're not even going to be playing his music on some radio stations. Really? Messages of beauty and love. Note the seagull in that card. Those of you that watched my video yesterday. So we had the Star card. Hope, the wish, connected into all of this. And then the one that went with it, I said, okay, go deeper. I mean, how perfect. The 5 of Pentacles. These are the beggars, you know, the beggars, the paupers, those with nothing. Are they going to believe in this, a better world? Or are they just going to take what they need to take to survive? I think there's a very profound message in that. Very profound. Okay. Let me close up my books now. I think we'll go into the meditation in a moment. Oh, before I do that, let's just pull an affirmation card, shall I? Because I did this off camera yesterday. Do you remember we had the card which is I am clear? That came out, didn't it? So let's just see what the message today is from Michael's energy. And I'm calling it Michael's energy because at the end of the day, I'm closing my eyes so I can't see what card I'm going to get. At the end of the day, Michael Jackson, as all of us are, was a soul, was a spirit, was an energy. And we are pulling that down, that light energy, to help us heal. And he's the catalyst here, bringing in a lot of healing for a lot of people's inner child. Those of you that just think he's, you know, guilty and vile, probably move on by, because you're not going to get an awful lot from this. You're welcome to stay, but we have to go into our heart and believe in what we're doing here. So those of you that are here, brilliant, that one. Well, there's 2. Oh my goodness. I know there is no judgment, all is love. Yes, I am. Do you understand what I am means? When you say I am, you are claiming your divinity. I am is the name of God. I am that I am. When God was asked who he was, he says, I am that I am. I am is the energy of God. Yes, I am. Yes, I am divine, is what Michael is saying. But not putting himself above us, because you're divine. I'm divine. We are all divine. We all come from divinity. How interesting that I've been told I've got to take our inner child straight back up to source. Not into the arms of an angel. Nothing wrong with angels. I love the angels. Not into the arms of any other ascended master. It's got to be back into God's arms. Yes, I am, is what he's saying. I am that. He's also saying, and I am still that. Present tense. Okay? Present tense. Your soul is eternal. It doesn't matter if your life ends in 20 years here on the earth plane or 99 years. You live on. Your spirit doesn't die. The energy of who he was is still here. Yes, I am. And this powerful message, I know there is no judgment, all is love. And what he's saying to me there about that, this is Michael saying it, is he's saying, those that judge me and deem me guilty, it's as though I understand. And doesn't mean by that he's declaring he's guilty. What he means is, I understand that you judge me, because moving through judgment is part of the spiritual path. Sometimes we have to have something to go up against to make us go deeper, okay? That's actually the job also of challenge. It's the job of suffering. It's the job of darkness. It gives us something to go up against. Why are we even here doing these videos? Why am I up here today talking to you about this? It's because I'm responding to something. I'm responding to the documentary, to the film. I felt there was an injustice there. I do feel there is an injustice there. Even if you think he's guilty, it's completely and utterly one-sided, because it's 4 hours of testimony with only one perspective. You wouldn't get that in a court of law. Well, you would, but you'd then get the next day would be 4 hours of the defence. There is no defence in that documentary. So that's why I stood up, to be honest. I mean, I liked his music in the past, but I was never a super fan or anything. I've grown to really love his music, actually, since doing this work. It's like, wow. I mean, I found Stranger in Moscow. I never knew that song even existed. It's beautiful. I've had it on loop, actually, for about the last 2 weeks. It's a beautiful song. Thank you for that, Michael. My goodness. It opens my heart. It speaks to me. I never even knew the song existed. So why am I doing this? It's something I had to come up against. The film was the thing that made me think, no, this doesn't feel right. Let me look a bit deeper. So in that way, I know there is no judgment, all is love, because the thing is, the thing that you're up against, as an example here, the film, for one example, that's what brings you back to love. That's what brings you back to beauty. Are you with me? I know most of you are. I hope you're all with me. Part of the ascension path is moving past judgment, but most of us aren't there yet. Most of us still need something to rally against, to bring us back to centre. Darkness can lead you to the light, that's the truth. So what we're going to do now with this meditation is we're going to take your wounded inner child, whether he or she be somebody that suffered any type of hardship, challenge, suffering, abuse, pain, and we're going to take that, what you've rallied against, what you've found so hard, so difficult, we're going to take it up to God, and we're going to ask God for healing via Archangel Metatron, with Michael as the catalyst for this work. How perfectly beautiful is that? So I'm going to put the music back on. I'll just tell you what we've got on playing. Even if you can't hear it, as I said yesterday, the vibration is coming through. We've got Sounds from Heaven. I'm not going to show you the CD cover, just because it's got the lady's face on it, in case I don't know whether she wants me to show it or not. But it's the crystal lyre and voice, and it's in 432 hertz, for those of you that know about that. Okay, and it's called, oh my goodness, it's called Sounds from Heaven. And I'm about to take you, hopefully, back up there. Right, let's put it back to the beginning. She's just starting to sing, actually, so let's just hear 30 seconds of her singing, because I want to put it back to the start. Just go within. That track's called Lullaby. So I'm going to pause the camera and we're going to go into our meditation. Get yourself comfortable, get yourself seated, and we will begin. Okay, are you ready to do some healing? Just going to get myself comfortable. I've got a beautiful, look at this. This is my flower of life. Roses, look at that. Fleecy blankets. I've got this around me. Feels as though Mary Magdalene is here as well. Got so many people. There are so many spirits here of light and love, and only light and love, who have gathered right now to help you. It is staggering, actually. Let me just welcome their energies in. They're showing me that they're like waves. They're like waves of support and healing and energy that are going to be pushing us towards God. I'm hearing the word heaven. We're not about to pass over, by the way. This is just this is a blessing, actually, to be given a glimpse of heaven, and then for your inner child that is so precious and that came from there, and then to bring that heavenly state of grace back into your body. So none of us are going anywhere. You know, we're going to be keeping here on the earth plane, but we are being ushered. I'm just seeing this. Oh, I'm seeing this. I'll take you through it, but I'm seeing this stairway, and it's like there are these people, there are these spirits just ushering us up to the highest light available, to the highest light available for our child. And they include the energy of Christ, welcoming in the energy of Christ. They include the energy of Metatron. They include the energy of Sandalphon, who keeps us anchored to earth, even though we're allowed a glimpse of heaven. They include the energy of Mary Magdalene. And Michael Jackson, his energy is the one that's brought us to this place. And we thank you, Michael, for that. He's dressed, Michael Jackson, he's dressed in white. It's like he's doing this. Welcome. So let's take 3 deep breaths in together. I'd like you to, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breathing in white, and we're going to be breathing out white. So, let's just get ready to do that. Breathing in white. Breathing out white. Breathing in white. Breathing out white. Breathing in white. Breathing out white. White light within. White light without. White light above, white light below, white light behind you, white light in front of you, white light to your right hand side, white light to your left hand side. Getting in touch with your root chakra at the base of your spine, and getting in touch with the space underneath your feet, your Earth Star chakra, you become aware of your anchor to Mother Earth via a silver, strong cord. An anchor to Mother Earth, held and supported by Gaia. Safe. It was Gaia and Mother Earth that first pulled you and called you to this planet. You were called because you saw the beauty of the earth. You also saw the things that you could learn upon this earth plane. You saw all of it. You saw the light and the dark. You saw the challenge and the reward. And you also saw the people in your life that would help you to learn, including those that would bring in adversity and struggle and pain for you to find your way back to the light. Your pre-incarnation contract knew what you were coming into, what you had agreed to, what you had to learn, experience, as well as enjoy and play with. Light and dark. As a pure spirit of light before incarnation, you saw planet Earth and knew this was the place to come to learn the greatest lessons, receive the best teachings, and grow and evolve as the spirit that you actually are. It was a soul calling to come. And so you came. Your wish was granted. I'd like you to now open up your heart space. Open up the heart chakra to receive all the healing that is here, and to also allow access to your own inner child, the little boy or the little girl that is within there. And if some of you have put up barricades of protection so that he or she can no longer be harmed, feel into the energy of Archangel Metatron, Christ, Mary Magdalene, that are here now, and whichever one you need to help you dissolve that barrier, that protection that you have built up around your inner child, maybe because she is hurt or he is in pain. Realize now that it's safe to come out of the cave. There is an opportunity here for healing, for body, mind, and soul. Let your inner child know that it is safe to come out and receive healing today. You, as the adult vessel, in which your child resides. Your child lives within you, so also converse with your adult self and let them also give permission for your inner child to come out and be healed. We bring in the soft coral energy of Christ that softens any blocks, any barriers. And I hear the words, let the children come to me. Let the little children come to me. And I'm seeing an image of Christ on his knees, wearing a white robe. He has a beard. He is a younger man. He has the most beautifully kind face. And he's getting down to a child's eye view, child's eye level, and he's asking you to come to him as a child. See yourself, your boy or your girl within, at the age that they need to come for healing. If you don't get an impression of the age, it does not matter, but some of you may see the age. You may note the appearance of your inner child. Some of them feel battered and bruised, hurt, bewildered at being here on this earth. What did I sign up for? Why am I here? Stunned, confused, lost, alone. It's okay. Come to me, Christ says. The other beings that are here also are there to come too. Mary, Christ, Metatron, Raphael as well is here too. Whoever you feel drawn to, go to them. And they lift you up in their arms and they carry you, the child that you are, towards a golden staircase. Your adult self is watching this from afar, held also by spirit, having given permission for this healing, encouraging your child on. So you, as your child, at the foot of the stairs, the golden staircase, are put onto the first step. And because you are small compared to the vastness of this huge golden staircase in front of you, you look to whoever has placed you there and you are bewildered. How can I climb there? How can I climb up to there? And then you notice all of the helpers on every single step, and there are 33 steps. On the right-hand side of the staircase are ascended beings and angels, and also ancestors that are female. Only those of love and light. On the left-hand side of the golden staircase are ascended masters and angels and ancestors who are masculine. On one side of the staircase are all of the female guides and helpers, And on the other side of the staircase are all the male helpers and guides. And you notice that they reach out their hand to help you. It's as though you're lifted up, step by step by step. And some of you may just turn momentarily from side to side, and you might notice particular faces, particular beings, particular masters that are there helping you. All the while knowing that at the bottom of the staircase is your adult self beckoning you on. Michael, who brought you to the place in the first place, and Metatron. Metatron is omnipresent. He can be in two places at once. He is both at the bottom of the staircase and he is at the top. He's actually on the 32nd step. And he's calling you now to go higher. And just see your child crawling, if they need to, up that staircase. But they are helped. They are helped every single step of the way. You are being cheered on. But you need to do it yourself. And you marvel at the resilience of your child, the strength that he or she has, the belief that they can get to the top, the curiosity to get to the top, the conviction that they will get to the top. For they remember this place. They arrive at the 29th step. 2 and 9 make 11. And even as a child, they suddenly remember that they are not a child. They are an old, divine, ancient soul. They are a divine being of light. They may very well be in a child's body, but they are so much greater than that at soul level. They are a soul that is pure and strong. And on the 29th step, the child fully stands up. Fully stands up and takes a deep breath. And it looks back down the staircase. And it sees some of the people and events and situations that caused them pain. And that child moves towards forgiveness and compassion for the perpetuators, the people that did whatever they did to you. Because your child isn't 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever age you're seeing. It's remembered its ancient soul and what it signed up for. It knows that those people were there for a purpose, for a reason, to maybe learn forgiveness, to maybe learn patience, tolerance, whatever it is that happened to you. Nothing was in vain. And you see too that those that did whatever they did to you, they're not on the 29th step, you are. It was never about them, it was about you. It was about you believing in the light, in the power of healing, in God, the angels, yourself. to be able to recover from anything. You are not your story. You never were. From the 29th step, Metatron either picks you up if you are a small child or walks with you to the 32nd step. And he says to you, this is the place now that you have to go on alone. From the 32nd to the 33rd step, there are no people either side of the staircase, no beings. There is just golden light coming down from the 33rd step to the 32nd. You become aware that the golden light above you at 33 is the energy of God. And you have no fear. It's from where you came. You are part of that source light. You are not separate from it. There is no fear. You gladly accept the invitation to go through the doorway, the portal of the 33rd step. And as you go in, you just feel the force of light, of source light, of God's love. And he picks you up and says, come to me, my child. Let me heal you. Let me heal you. Let me heal you. And he doesn't even have to touch you. God, light, source, pure golden energy envelops you, your child's body. It runs through you, it becomes you. It dissolves away the pain. It dissolves away the injustice. It dissolves away the suffering. It dissolves away the abuse. You are illuminated by God light. I am that. I am that. I am that. You hear a calling coming from afar, coming from below, coming from the earth. It's the call of Gaia, who needs you back, who needs that light, who needs that child, who believes in purity, in innocence, in light, in goodness, in love. That energy is needed by Gaia. And from the goodness and the bottomness of your heart, the calling that you first felt to come to earth, however many years ago, comes back again. And you know you must return, and you want to return, and you have to return to complete your mission. The child healed. The child that's going to spur you on. The child that's going to motivate you. The child that's going to change the way that you look at the world. And that child knowing that it can come back to God eventually, when the time is right, when He calls, scampers back down those stairs. Scampers back down, and on the 29th step, Metatron says to your child, did you say thank you? Did you say thank you? And if you didn't say thank you, you turn back and you say thank you. Thank you to God. And then you scamper down those steps. You have a desire to come back and to right wrongs and to do the work that you were always meant to do. But maybe the child inside had been too damaged to be able to fully embrace the path that the adult you now needs to do. You see your child on the bottom step, greeted by Metatron, who is now also at the bottom of the stairs, by Archangel Sandalphon, who is also at the bottom of the stairs, by Michael, who was the one that brought you here. And he's like a big child, excited for you. I see him in the black hat that he used to wear. And he's excited, he's giggling. And then I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in and out. And I'd like you to now just link back into your adult self, your body, your physicality, where you're sitting. And I want you to go back to your heart. And I want you to see that space within your heart where your child was. And I want your adult self to just welcome him or her back in. And she jumps back into you, he jumps back into you. And you feel the bliss and the grace and the golden energy that they now have. They feel different. They feel different. They are different, for they are healed. And they sit within, happier, content. Feeling as though they've been given the keys to the kingdom of heaven, which indeed they were, and they still have in their hand. Being able to bring back the kingdom of heaven to earth, to your body, to your life, to your path, to your destiny. Breathe into that. And then we just seal in all of that work. The heart chakra, the petals of the lotus flower, just closing very gently around the child within. Not closing like a vice, just like petals on a flower at the end of a day. Just closing around the child a little bit. Sealing in all that beautiful energy. Knowing it is now yours and it is within you. Become aware of your root chakra, your base chakra, and the colour red. And with the colour red, you become aware once again of your roots going down into Mother Earth. You become aware of the anchor underneath you that stayed in place the whole time that healing took place. You move your fingers, your thumbs, your feet. You stretch, You move your shoulders and you open your eyes on a big, deep breath in and then out. And then come back to me. I'm going to play a little bit of the music. And then we will close. So just come back and stretch as you just hear this music. It's as though we've brought back the music from heaven. Sounds from heaven. Okay. Tell you what a good energy would be to leave on. Hope. I did work, oh gosh, 2 years ago was it? Did a series of videos on the Christ energy and transcending the cross. And what I meant by that is transcending the cross represents suffering. And the image, the symbol that we were given was the ankh. This is the ankh. And the ankh symbolizes eternal life and hope. It balances the male and female. And it's as though I just want to give you that symbol, the ankh. And here you'll see it's surrounded by an olive branch. It's the energy of hope. In fact, I'm wearing the colour, aren't I? I didn't know what to wear this morning, colour-wise. And Metatron told me to wear this. So I realise now it's about this. It's about hope. Let's just spray this. There goes the phone. There's always the phone. That's just about coming back down to earth. And I'll tell you what that is actually. That'll be my mum ringing. She rings most days. And the thing is that when you've got a hurt inner child or a damaged inner child, an unhealed inner child, when you then go back into everyday life, whether it's facing a parent, a child, a partner, your boss, whatever, often it will be the inner child, the hurt inner child that's the one that responds to the phone call, you know, or the cry for help. But can you feel that when your inner child is feeling more settled and well, you can actually pick up the phone to the person that needs you, or maybe you've had challenges with, and you can actually really be in the energy of namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. How can I help you? That's pretty perfect. That's a good grounding phone call, Mum. Thanks for that. I hope these videos have helped you. As I say, you can watch them again. I felt that meditation was very beautiful. I did it myself this morning because I was taken through it myself. And I would like to thank all of you for following me on this journey. I'm not quite sure even where we're going with all this. My YouTube channel is obviously a channel which is about many things. I talk about many subjects on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. And over the last couple of weeks it's been very much about Michael because there's been so much rich learning, and there probably will be more. But I will, over the next few weeks, I'm going to have a little bit of a break for a few days now, but we'll probably be returning back to some other subjects. There's a lot happening in our world, and I don't know, I'll be guided, as I always am, by Metatron and what we're meant to do. It strikes me that with Michael's energy, Michael Jackson, there probably is going to be more work to come, deeper levels of understanding and teaching, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to be putting that yet, whether I might do it in a more of a private closed group. I don't know. I will be steered. just because I know that, you know, light and dark, it can be a bumpy ride sometimes. And sometimes when we do this very sacred work, we've just done very sacred work together, it's good to keep that in a place which is very safe. But I knew that I had to put these out publicly and for these to reach as many people as possible. So if they've touched you, if they've helped you, pass them on. I never ask you to like and share my videos, it's just not my style, but actually in this instance I think I'm going to say it. If it's helped you, give it a like. That's all I ask. Namaste everybody. With thanks to all of the helpers, with thanks to Michael Jackson who brought all of this in, with thanks to Metatron, Christ, Mary Magdalene and Sandalphon, I wish you well. Keep your vibration as high as you can. It's actually a beautiful world. Much love. Bye-bye.